Yeah. All right, call the meeting to order. Mr. General, would you wish me to pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. First item on the agenda is to approve our agenda.
Move.
Motion by Weiss, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. This time we'll open the meeting up for any public comments. Anyone wish to address the commission this morning? Nobody's here, so out there online or on the phone? Anyone at all? See none, we will move on. Special malt beverage hearing for Boys and Girls Club.
Notice of hearing for special malt beverage license. Notice is hereby given according to South Dakota Codified Law 35-2. A public hearing on the following malt beverage license application is set for the 26th day of March 2024 in the chambers of the Brown County Commissioners in the Courthouse Annex, Brown County, South Dakota, at which time any interested persons wishing to register complaint on their approval may appear. Boys and Girls Club of Aberdeen area, Aberdeen, South Dakota, at the Holm Expo Building, southwest quarter of Section 1, Township 123 North, Range 64, Brown County, South Dakota, for the special license effective April 12th through the 13th.
All right, is there anyone here to speak to this malt beverage hearing? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next up, Chris Heeman, Weed and Pest Supervisor, to open chemical bids and approve the purchase of a spray logger. Morning, Chris.
Morning.
Right there for you.
Alrighty. Hardware and everything for me.
Chris, you want to read your notice first?
Alrighty. Maybe.
As you can see it.
I'm in the club now. Sealed bids will be received in the chamber of the Brown County Board of Commissioners, Brown County Courthouse Annex at Aberdeen, South Dakota, 57401 until 8:45 a.m. on Tuesday, March 26, 2024. At said time and place, all bids will be publicly open, read, and considered for furnishing of chemical for the Brown County Weed and Pest Board for 2024. Proposal guarantee, no deposit or bond will be required at time of bid opening. Contract, Brown County will give notice to successful bidder that his proposal has been accepted, and said bidder shall, within 10 days, thereafter enter into a contract with Brown County in accordance with the bid as accepted. Successful bidder shall furnish proper certificates of insurance as required by Brown County. Contract for the chemicals shall be firm and will be in effect for a period of 8 months from April 1st to November 30th, 2024. Sealed envelopes containing bid shall be addressed to Brown County Auditor, 25 Market Street, Suite 1, Aberdeen, South Dakota, 57401, and be marked chemical bid for Brown County Weed and Pest Board, and be opened at 8:45 a.m. on Tuesday, March 26, 2024. The Brown County Board of Commissioners reserves the right to accept or reject any or all bids, and to accept the bid they deem to be in the best interest of Brown County. Brown County is exempt from federal excise tax and state sales tax. Specifications are on file and may be obtained at no charge at the office of the Brown County Auditor and the Brown County Weed and Pest Office. Alrighty. Ready?
We are.
Alright. Okay, first one is from Adapco. I'm guessing that's probably just the mosquito chemical that they put in for. Wait, they sealed this sucker up good here. Okay, so we got the safety data sheet. Okay, here we go. So they put in for looks like Mosquito Master 412 and Biomist 315 and Altosid. You know, so they've just got the mosquito chemicals here. Let's see, I'll have to check the label. They put in for, for Phyphonon, Permacease 315 and Metalarv, instead of Altosid, so, I have to go back, probably check the labels, make sure it's the same chemical equivalent. I believe the Permacease 315 probably is in the Metalarv. I think that's the same as the Altosid, same active ingredient, so. Actually, they got the labels right here. No, this is different. This is malathion. So that's a little bit different than Mosquito Master 412. And the Permacease 315 is the same as the Biomist, same active ingredients, permethrin and piperonyl butoxide. And Metalarv is same methoprene. So those two are the same chemical equivalent that we put in there. Let's see, next one we got from Van Diest. It's much easier to get into. Okay, so they put in that 86.88 a gallon. So I would say, yeah, they came in a little bit lower on the 315 and the Metalarv. It's a little bit cheaper than the Altosid, so we usually don't go through a lot of that anyway. The mosquito chemical, I think we're going to go through most, so I guess I'd recommend going through those, making sure those are the same thing, and just kind of compare notes. Other than they're the only ones that put in for the rest of our herbicide. So I guess I would recommend we go with Van Diest on that. You know, state bid if possible. They're usually pretty close, though, pretty much the same. Does anybody want to take a look? Or?
How long will it take you to review the mosquito chemicals? A few minutes, or do you need a week?
I don't need a week, but yeah, I could probably have it in a few minutes here.
Okay. I move we defer it till later in the meeting, give a chance to review it, and
Okay.
I can make a recommendation. Is that fair?
Yep, I could do that.
Sounds good. Good. You can come back and make a recommendation based on what you find out, and we can approve everything at that time.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
All right? And then you wanna talk about the spray logger?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, motion by Weiss, second by Gage to defer the decision on the chemical bid. For the review. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
So the spray logger that we're looking at here, I put that in the budget for 24. It's the quote that we got here is $12,325, basically to replace our. What's that?
It was in the packet.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, basically to replace the loggers that we've had for the past 6-7 years, I think, through Terra. They've been working okay for us. Basically, the hardware is getting outdated, and they need to replace all that along with the tablets. And we're looking at about around $10,000-11,000, I think, just to replace all the boxes. This one here, we were looking at either replacing them or going with this new setup. When we looked at these folks, their setup's a little bit different than what we got now. Right now, it's based on a flow meter, which we're constantly having to calibrate, and it's not necessarily accurate as far as measuring what chemical we put out. We're going by, you know, looking at the tank. You know, when we put in 500 gallons and we're down to 200, we just say 300 gallons. as far as like pinpointing each spot, you know, we put, .03 ounces in this 10-foot stretch here. We don't really need to get that accurate, we're just kinda worried about where exactly we sprayed and when. This new setup, because right now it just measures the boom and it basically estimates, you know, based on where our GPS is and how big we say our boom is. This one here actually plugs right into the monitor that we've got on our spray trucks right now. So as soon as we hit the switch, whether it's zone 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, it knows exactly which zone is on and which one's spraying. So instead of just painting a big line in the ditch, it'll paint a 10-foot section on the shoulder, another 10-foot further in the ditch, and a 15-foot stretch on the fence line, so we can see, you know, exactly where we sprayed. The good thing about the loggers that I really like is that when I first started, you know, we'd always get a few drift complaints. Somebody would call up and say, yeah, I think you sprayed my alfalfa or my beans or whatever, and we'd look at our map and say we sprayed on this date here, and then we'd look at the weather report, and then we'd go out and look at it and say, okay, this doesn't look like drift, this is just overspray from, or you didn't wash your tank out, it's, you know, a perfectly straight line, it's a different variant of corn that you've got, stuff like that. This one here, I can actually send on the map and say, okay, this is exactly where I sprayed next to this approach here, and you're saying your drift is all along this corner here, and after 3 years of that, last year I didn't get a single drift complaint, and we went out spraying more than I think we had since I've been here. The other good thing about this unit that we didn't have with the other, with AgTerra, is that they're set up through Verizon, so for $30 a month for just the summer, the tablets communicate with each other. So if we're spraying a township or something like that, we can see exactly where each truck is, where each one of us has been. At the end of the year, it comes in really handy when we're just trying to finish up the county, and rather than trying to explain, okay, I sprayed from 141st to 148th, and just on one side of the ditch, and we can just look at the map and say, okay, there's no line here, so this one needs to be sprayed.
It automatically aggregates all the data.
Right, yep. You know, getting audited by the state, you know, if that were to happen, this makes it a little bit easier, just saying, you know, because they always want to see our records every few years anyway, and this just makes it a little bit easier to say, okay, here's our records, and then this is actually what we're tracking, so. So that's why I was kind of looking at this one here, as far as the setup goes, the tablets are a little bit better. We've already got most of the mounting hardware, I think, from our existing setup, so it shouldn't be too much work. As far as them coming out here and hooking it up, I don't know that that's even necessary. They've got it in here for, let's see here, yeah, installation and on-site training, $1,500. If all we have to do is just plug and play, and we're able to do that here, I think there's no reason we wouldn't be able to do a Zoom meeting and get the training and everything done and save some cost that way. So.
No supply chain issues, you order it, it'll be here in a reasonable amount of time and get you going?
Yeah, they said basically just a few weeks. They basically just build the cables themselves and ship them here. For the Raven monitors that we have, that's a pretty common one, so they've got a lot of those on hand.
Okay, so that's your recommendation?
Yep, that's my recommendation. That's what I'd like to go with.
Move.
Motion by Weiss.
Second.
Second by Denner to approve the purchase of the spray logger that's recommended. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Alrighty.
Thanks for that.
Let us know what you find out.
All right, we'll do.
that. Thanks, Chris.
Yep, you bet.
Next up, Wade Huntington, Community Health Service update and discuss the agreement. Wade is online with us here. Good morning, Wade.
Good morning, Commissioners, Len, everybody else. How are you guys?
Doing well. How are you?
Oh, we're doing fine. The sun's shining, a little snow on the ground out west.
Yeah, I don't think we have sun here. Maybe we do.
You do, we just can't see it.
You want to talk to us about our nursing contract?
Well, absolutely. I wanted to make myself available to answer any questions that you guys might have at all. This is a contract that, you know, we've been cooperating on for a long time. Your guys' contract looks a little different than a lot of others. I don't have any of the historical context as to why your guys' looks a little bit different, but it does, and it's a contract that benefits Brown County, and so what questions might you guys have in relation to this contract? Remember, this contract is that contractual and that cooperative agreement, more or less, to help us provide public health nursing services in Brown County. So, you know, we got the big Department of Health office downtown. This past fall, we reorganized the way that we offer our services a bit. You know, health trends have become more and more specialized over the years, and we were asking a lot of our staff to be, you know, highly proficient subject matter experts, if you will, in both the WIC program and then in the variety of our public health nursing programs. And so in September and October, we more or less separated. We have staff that are dedicated only to providing WIC, so that's what they concentrate on. Those staff don't need to worry about keeping, you know, really up to date on the immunization schedule, on what's going on with, you know, changes in milestones for developmental and social emotional screenings, those kinds of things. They just pay attention to WIC. That's all they do, and stay up to date on all things WIC and all things nutrition. And then we have a public health nurse and supporting staff who pay attention to public health nursing. So we, as the subject matter expert, if you will, on the pregnancy care program, on anything and everything that, you know, that we can help with in the community when it comes to nursing. So other than that, everything is as it's been and has been.
All right, you mentioned that our contract looks a little different than other counties. Can you briefly explain what the major differences are?
Usually the contractual and the cooperative agreements involve the county paying a little bit of money towards to offset the nursing costs. It might include providing space for us to do business. A majority of those contracts do that, and then provide clerical support. So a lot of the counties that are even around you folks, a lot of them, that's what they're doing. We're housed in a courthouse, so they provide us space to do business. You know, they pay the utility bill, they clean it, you know, snow removal, those kinds of things. That would be all in common with the county space. And then in a lot of places, they provide us a secretary. So they'll provide clerical support anywhere from, you know, a half-time secretary to a full-time secretary. And then, of course, just based on some FTE pieces on caseload and that, then they may pay, you know, anywhere from $7,100 to upwards of $16,000 for nursing costs somewhere along the line. And I imagine it probably happened when, you know, we moved into, you know, the building downtown there, that it was negotiated that you guys would just pay a flat sum. You would not be responsible to provide any space. You wouldn't be responsible or asked to provide any clerical support. And so in lieu of that, there had to have been an agreement that says, okay, well, this is what we will pay, then in lieu of the rest of that, and that's how it's been ever since.
So the $21,000 and change in our current proposed contract, that's our total cost, Brown County's
That's
total
your
cost.
total cost.
Okay,
Yep, $21,293.
okay,
And again, we use that money to just offset, you know, everything from the rent we pay to moving snow and paying utilities to all of the staffing to provide, you know, all of those public health nursing services in Brown County.
all right, go ahead, Commissioners, any questions that you have for Wade?
Who else contributes to that fund? Is it just county?
Yeah, and the state, of course, you know, obviously the state has, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars when it comes to staffing and rent and all of that kind of thing. But yeah, there's no, you know, we partner obviously with a considerable amount of resources in your community, you know, everything from Head Start, you know, and that's really about just providing the best service we possibly can. One of the biggest things we do is just connect our families with the resources they need, and so we have a lot of relationships. So we get a lot of support that way, but when we start talking about people writing checks and sharing money, that's the state and you folks.
Do all 66 counties have some form of access to this public health program, or do some counties form a co-op?
No, we don't have any co-ops. So, I don't know about it being a tricky question. We have some counties who do not have contractual agreements with us. These are typically smaller counties that there are people, let's say Harding County, for example, Corson County are a couple that come to mind. There's some others that are right there against the way Sioux Falls is growing and that urban spread. Those folks are coming in and taking care of all of their healthcare needs and that kind of thing in Sioux Falls and in that Sioux Falls area. So, but yeah, a majority of them have. And then the cooperative thing, there's been conversations about how that may or may not work, and usually that surrounds those counties that are providing us clerical support, that maybe we don't have enough work in one county to support a full-time employee, and then a couple counties have talked about in the past getting together to be able to hire one employee. Keeping employees who are working, just 2 days a week to 2.5 to 3 days a week, and keeping them proficient in all of our technology and that kind of thing sometimes gets difficult without that repetition. And so there's been conversations about that, but again, without you guys not on the hook for any clerical support, not so much of a factor with you folks.
All right. Any other questions anybody have?
Is this just strictly for Brown County? Do you have any outside county residents that come in and use our services?
Yeah, I didn't pull any of the data. It's, that's where we're doing our business. To say that, that there's not some folks that come in because they work in Brown County. So, a majority, and I would be safe to saying well over 90% of the folks that we provide services to at Brown County Community Health are Brown County residents. But again, recognize that, you have folks that do come in, and sometimes that's a nice factor, given the fact that they're coming in for healthcare. Maybe they're buying a tank of gas. They're spending their money at the grocery store in Brown County, you know what I mean? You guys have a Walmart. There's not a lot of Walmarts around, so you got a lot of folks that come in from the outside area, to buy their groceries at Walmart and take care of their kids' immunizations or get some developmental screenings or their WIC or whatever happens to be.
And I guess that's the reason I asked if all the counties had a public health nursing program available, or using the scenario that you just used, if people were in town at Walmart from Edmonds or Marshall or McPherson County, and they could utilize our downtown location. Is that correct?
Yeah, they could.
Okay.
Yes, they could if they wanted some services. Marshall has their own contract. Edmonds is a public health alliance. That's a little bit of a different deal, where we have an agreement between the healthcare provider in Edmonds County and Edmonds County proper, and then the state. That's one of those kind of job sharing things where, they needed other things for some of their staff to do to keep people fully employed. Not only that, it's sometimes difficult to hire healthcare providers on a half-time basis. They look for full-time work, they're supporting families and kids' college aspirations, that kind of a thing. But yeah, a lot of the counties that are around you do have. There's an office in Britain, there's one in Webster, down in Redfield, and then in Bowdle and Leola and Ipswich. So you guys aren't really on an island so much up there like we can see it occasionally, especially when we get out west, like into Lemon in that area.
Sure. All right, does anyone else have any questions? We appreciate the explanation and the opportunity to answer some of our questions. When we were asked to sign this last week, there were a few questions that came up, and I think we've asked those today. So I think we got the answers we were looking for. We appreciate your time and making yourself available.
Yeah, absolutely, anytime. Lynn knows how to get a hold of me, so if some other questions come up or any other explanations needed, yeah, reach out and I can get back to you guys quickly. Yeah, we appreciate, you know, the ability to work together like we do with so many of the counties to be able to provide, you know, these public health services. I did share again later, I updated a frequently asked questions, and it would have been nice for you guys to have that like last week, you know. But yeah, you can look through that and it'll answer a lot of the questions as to what we've been doing, you know, even over the last 4 to 6 months to really improve our services and our accessibility for all things public health for all South Dakota residents and especially Brown County.
Yeah, I appreciate those, the update that you got to us on the frequently asked questions. A lot of good information and answers a few more of the questions that we had, so thank you.
You betcha.
All right, if there's nothing else, I guess we'll move on. Thanks for listening in and providing the information.
All right, you guys be well.
All right, you too. Thanks, Wade.
Yeah.
All right, next up. Oh, yeah, sorry, better approve that. Entertain a motion to approve the Community Health Service Agreement.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Forgot the whole purpose of what we were doing. All right.
Slide it, Luke.
Chris, he walked back.
Chris, you ready?
Yeah.
You good? Good.
How's it look?
Okay, so the, Mosquito Master, that's what we're currently using. We've been using that for the last few years. Van Diest had it at 86.88 a gallon. Azelis came back in at, they put in for Piphanon though. It's a different chemical. It's malathion and, versus, chlorpyrifos. And, it's a little bit cheaper. Malathion stinks pretty bad though, which I kinda like. It keeps people away from the mosquito fogger when we're going, gets people indoors. But there is a little bit, they haven't proven it, just a little bit of an increased risk with breast cancer on malathion, so I try to stay away from that. So I recommend going with the Mosquito Master. The other one that I put on here too, and I think I mentioned it to both the vendors, that we'd go with one or the other. Mosquito Master, they've been looking at getting that off the market for the past few years, but they keep extending it and letting them manufacture it, so I don't know if it's going away or not, but BioMist is a little bit cheaper, and Adapco, they've got the same chemical equivalent, the Permacease, at $64.99 a gallon versus $82.15 a gallon for BioMist that we got from Van Diest. So I guess the only thing I would hesitate on there is, you know, I prefer to get everything through one supplier just because it makes it a little bit easier. The mosquito chemical is usually a separate order anyway, so I guess if you guys, you know, wanted to save a few bucks, we could go with the Permacease. I think over the course of the year it'd be, let's see here, it'd probably be around, you know, like, what, 1,500 maybe or so, depending on how much we use, how much we go out.
Savings?
Yeah, yep, if we went through Adapco. And then the other one was the Metalarv. I looked at that one, it's $500 a case, through Adapco, and Van Diest, put in for the Altosid. Altosid is good for 150 days, the Metalarv, I think it said on there 110 days, roughly. Plus each tablet, covers about 200 square feet on the Altosid, and I think it was 100 square feet on the Metalarv. So that one, you know, that one I'd recommend just go with Van Diest. I don't know how much we're gonna go through. It's, last year we had a wet spring and everybody was asking for it, so we sold quite a bit of that, but, so on that one, I guess I'd recommend going with the, sticking with the Alto-Sid. As far as the Biomist or the, Permacies, I don't know, that one I'm kinda torn on. I'd say if you guys, I'd be okay going either way. It's great getting it all through one vendor, makes it a lot easier. But it would save us a few bucks if we go through at APCO.
Well, it's a value question, and you're a trusted expert
Yeah.
in this area, so I would prefer, you know, you have
Gotcha.
a recommendation that makes sense
Yeah.
based on the value, because I know, you know, like you just indicated, some of them advertise different levels of coverage, different
Right.
levels of effectiveness,
Mhm.
that type of thing.
Yeah.
You're the one that makes the value judgments and knows, you know,
Right.
best.
I mean, the Biomist we've used before, seems to work pretty good, doesn't smell a little bit safer. Last year, we did have an issue with the Mosquito Master, overwintering. What happens is, every year once in a while, the pandemic really changed a lot of stuff for the manufacturers. It was the same chemical formula, same recipe basically, but it was a little bit different formulation, and this stuff, it didn't overwinter. The active kind of froze out of it, and there was this big solid lump of white crystal in the bottom of the barrel. I guess my comparison would be if you're making chocolate chip cookies, you go by the same recipe, but instead of putting solid butter in there, you melt the butter, and then you bake it, and then your cookies come out kind of flat and hard. That's about all I can compare it to. It's the same recipe, they just made it a little bit differently. So for whatever reason, that's kind of why I want to get away from the Mosquito Master too, and plus, like I said, they keep saying that they're going to pull it from the market, but they never do. So at some point, it's going to go away, and we're either going to be stuck with no supply, or you know, we'll just have to go to something else, or just stop spraying that year. So.
Well, you have to balance all of those
Yeah.
factors together, so
Yeah.
if you can give us a concise recommendation on which you want for those, I will move
Yeah.
that recommendation.
I would say, personally, I think I'd just as well go with the Biomist from Van Diest. I know we've used it before, and we've never had any problems with Van Diest as a supplier. They're
Yep.
always good about getting it to us. So I prefer just to simplify things, just go off the one bid.
Okay.
Award the bid to Van Diest. Across the board, okay.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion by Weiss, second by Denner to approve the quote from Van Diest Chemical. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thanks, Chris, appreciate it.
You betcha.
Lots of factors to consider,
Oh,
so
yeah.
we appreciate that.
Yep, you betcha. Then I'll get the salt typed up for you, and then, or get the packet back to you.
Okay.
All typed up.
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, next up, we've got Judy Dosh
Might need to defend myself.
to discuss, I thought I saw her just outside. Judy, are you here? I'll give her a call, I told her I would. Call if she wasn't here. Oh, okay. He's here for a minute.
She's on the way.
You?
Can we jump to the next item? Kelly?
We could probably go on to the consent calendar while we're waiting for her to get here, Lynn.
Or do you want to discuss the burn ban?
Oh, burn ban, I'm sorry, missed that in the middle. I did get a message this morning from Scott Mintz, and his recommendation is to let the burn ban expire, obviously because of conditions. So unless anyone has any strong desire to keep it in place.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by everybody, second by Feldheim, to let the burn ban expire effective today. Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. And there is Judy. Judy, we're ready for you.
We think, as far as we know.
And this is to discuss contracts, so I believe Judy's going to be requesting it. Exactly.
Correct.
Oh,
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage, to go into executive session to discuss contracts. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
I didn't catch that.
All right, the light's back on, we're back in session, out of
Oh,
executive,
yeah.
no action as a result. Before we move on, I would entertain a motion to agree to submit the cost estimates that were provided for the courthouse security updates and agree to the 25% match if the grants are granted.
Move. Second.
Motion by Weiss, second by Dennert. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now we can move on to the consent calendar.
Okay. Approval of the general meeting minutes of March 19th, 2024.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claims and payroll.
Move.
Motion by Gage,
Second.
second by Feldheim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
HR reports.
Move.
Motion by Weiss,
Second.
second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Claim assignment.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Plat.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Gage. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Zoning ordinance, set the hearing date and authorize advertising.
Move. Second.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Lease agreement.
Move. Second.
Motion by Feldheim, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Abatement.
Move.
Motion by Dennert, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Travel request.
Move.
Motion by Weiss. Second by Feldheim. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Auditor's report of accounts.
Move. Second. Third.
Motion by Gage, second by Weiss. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any other business to come before the Brown County Commission this morning? Seeing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move. Second.
Motion by Dennert, second by Weiss to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned.